Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Hello and happy Devil Saturday. It is Game Day Live presented by the Primetime Radio Studios. My name is Vinnie Parisi and I'm coming at you live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitch, and everywhere else you could get your podcasts after the show. Very good to be with you. Today the New Jersey Devils take on the Carolina Hurricanes. It is going to be a very, very interesting game. But before we get started, I would be remiss if we had a hockey show the day after an absolute legend passed away. Yesterday, we lost Guy Lafleur. And Guy Lafleur was one of the absolute greatest players to ever play for one of the most prominent franchises in the National Hockey League. This is a New Jersey Devils show, but we can all recognize the significance of the Bleu, Blanc, and Rouge of the Montreal Canadiens. Guy Lafleur was one of the great ones. I mean, when you think about some of the greatest players who ever played in the NHL, you obviously think Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux. Now we're adding Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Alexander Ovechkin into the mix. When you think of like those top 50 all-time players, I think those guys are absolutely in the mix. Guy Lafleur is right there. I mean, Montreal Canadiens fans, you guys got the Rocket, and, you know, if you come to a little more modern day, I would assume Carey Price is considered to be amongst some of the great Montreal Canadiens players. Maybe that's a little bit of recency bias, but he's been outstanding. I consider Guy Lafleur to be like at the top of that pinnacle. So rest in peace to him. That's an absolute hockey legend. I'm assuming most of the people watching, there are probably some people that got to see him play live. I certainly didn't, but it was one of those things that, you know, you just know he exists long before you even really truly become a hockey fan, because he was that important to the National Hockey League. So rest in peace, Guy Lafleur. Today, the New Jersey Devils will be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, coming off of a pretty brutal loss to the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo, people are, how do we lose to Buffalo? Buffalo's better than the Devils, okay? Let's stop saying, I hope Buffalo. I deal with this with some Blackhawks people, too, when they lose to teams like Arizona or Buffalo. Like, you're just as bad as them, too. I don't know what you think, like, you're above them. No. The Devils are not above Buffalo. They've been really good since the trade deadline. The guys that they acquired for Jack Eichel have been magnificent. And, you know, they're going to be okay. I don't know if next year's the year they end the longest playoff drought in North. No, I don't know. Is it the long? No, the Mariners have definitely missed the playoffs longer than the Sabres. Definitely the longest in the National Hockey League. We'll leave it at that. And they're coming. Without Jack Eichel is going to be tough. We'll see how they replace him, as he really has started to heat up for the Vegas Golden Knights lately. But as far as the Devils, that game, it stunk. They lost, but it had two things in it that kind of excited me, and I wrote about it for pucksandpitchforks.com. The first being that Nikita Ahotuk scored his first career NHL goal. He started the game. He was on the third pair, I believe, with PK Subban, and he didn't look out of place. He looked ready to go. I'll tell you what, some of these, I almost called them the Binghamton Devils, these Utica Comets prospects they've come up and they've looked really nice. So, you know, I have no complaints there. Hotuk scores his first career goal. He only had like 15 minutes of ice time, and he got the goal. I believe, and it was funny, the goal that he scored, it felt like it was coming, because it was his fourth shot of the game as a rookie defenseman in his NHL debut. He becomes the third player on the active New Jersey Devils roster to score a goal in his first career NHL goal. You might remember that Jesper Bratt did it in his NHL debut against the Colorado Avalanche in 2017. And I believe it was Ty Smith scoring his first career NHL goal in his first career NHL game against the Boston Bruins last season. So it's fun to keep an eye on. Ahotuk, we'll see how he's able to progress and if he's able to become an NHL mainstay. I think there are a lot of young defensemen that are hoping that they can become that. I know next year, when healthy, you assume Siegenthaler, pending trades as well. Siegenthaler, Severson, Smith, Dougie Hamilton, and Ryan Graves. That's a pretty nice top, but you need to fill out the rest of the group. I think Kevin Ball has played well enough to end the season where his name is going to be in the mix come training camp time, assuming health. Same thing with Ahotuk. I'm sure Riley Walsh would just love to get his shot. We never know who they sign in the offseason, and you never know who gets hurt in training camp. So all these guys keep playing, keep doing what you're doing, make an impression. Nikita Ahotuk made an impression in his first game, and that's really all you can ask for. So the other story that I got to pucksandpitchforks.com from that game, positive-wise, was Jesper Boquist. Jesper Boquist started his NHL career a couple years ago. I can't pinpoint the exact day. It's been a while. But he's been up and down between the NHL and AHL. He kind of seems like a quadruple A type player up until this year. There was a point where he was the Devils' number 2 prospect. I remember doing my prospect pyramid, and him and Ty Smith were both in Tier 2. And Tier 2 is reserved for those players who, we think they have a chance to be an all-star, and their floor is like, a bottom 6 NHL player. And then, anything below that is kind of a surprise. And then Tier 1 is like the Hughes or the Heishers, guys like that, where you just know they're sick. Boquist, he took a while. He was almost failing to meet my Tier 2 expectation. Like, you wondered if he was going to stick in the league for a long time. And that's still a wonder. Nothing is set in stone by any means. But the way he's played in the last 10 to 15 games, he's starting to look like the guy that we thought he was. And there are lots of late bloomers that come around in the National Hockey League over the last 20 to 30 years. Boquist could be one of them. I mean, he certainly got the skill. There's no doubt about it. I remember the Heischer draft. It was in Chicago. I was there. Boquist was supposed to be like a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. He fell to the Devils, so they won the lottery. So they had the first overall pick in the first round, but I believe it was the third pick or the fourth pick in the second round, because Vegas made things tough too. So the fourth overall pick in the second round, I believe, and they got Boquist. And a high second-round pick, those guys are good a lot of the time. A lot of the time they're also not, because the draft is a big, scary meanie. Boquist, he turned out to be a guy not a lot of people really loved when he was in the lineup. I mean, there were guys who were more effective than him. Yegor Sharangovich came out of nowhere, and he was better than Boquist right away. Even a guy like Yanni Kuokkanen coming over from the Carolina Hurricanes, who the Devils play today, he came out of nowhere. But in the last 10 or so games, Boquist has looked outstanding. He's got 7 points in his last 10. I believe he's third on the Devils in scoring in April, behind Heischer and Sharangovich. Someone might have to fact check me on that. But without Hughes, you needed someone to step up and play well in this position, and Boquist has done that so far. So hopefully next year you look at the young group. Of course, Heischer's the captain and Hughes is the best player, so those are the two mainstays, you would assume. Bratt is going to end up leading the Devils in scoring this year because of injuries to Hughes, and Nico not really picking it up offensively until the second half of the season. I think he would have led the team in scoring had he kept this pace all year long. So those are like the big three, right? Then you got Sharangovich. I think Sharangovich sticks around and he plays in the top six and scores lots of goals. I would assume that Alexander Holtz plays for the New Jersey Devils come the start of next season. He's been outstanding for the Utica Comets, and I kind of love that they haven't called him up either. Just keep him down in Utica. Keep him away from this garbage team at the NHL level. Next year is Alexander Holtz's time to shine. And then I think Boquist can be in that mix in the bottom six. If he plays on a line with Miles Wood or Michael McLeod, Nathan Bastian, any of those guys, I think he has a chance to really be a successful player. And, he scores goals that are pretty. He scored a very pretty goal 2 games ago. And then last game, he was just hanging around the net, whacking away at it, and he was credited with a goal. And it was a big goal at the time. The Sabres ended up pulling away, but at the time it made it 3-2 Sabres. And after being down 3-0, Boquist kind of like inserted some life into them, at least a little bit. So hopefully he's able to keep that up. So between Boquist and Ahotuk, I'm happy with the way that the Devils handled it. Later today, when they take on the Carolina Hurricanes, we're going to see another young lad step up. And I purposely avoided mentioning his name when talking about next season's possible young additions. That's Nolan Foote. Nolan Foote was acquired from the Tampa Bay Lightning when the Devils sent over Blake Coleman. Now, Blake Coleman ended up winning 2 Stanley Cups with them, playing on the best third line in the NHL that we've seen in a long time with Barclay Goodrow and Yanni Gourde. That line is completely broken up now. Tampa has tried to replace it since. But the Devils got Nolan Foote out of it. And, of course, the draft pick that led to them drafting Shakir Muhammadulin, which we will learn about him in the coming years. Can't say we know much about him right now. Not a lot of fans loved the pick when they made it. But Nolan Foote was known for having just a wicked shot. The guy can score goals. And we've seen it at time in Utica. He's hoping to bring it up to the NHL, and he will play his first game of, I believe it's his first game of the season, today against the Carolina Hurricanes. So he's somebody to keep an eye on if you are looking for the team to play well. And then I haven't gotten word quite yet on who is in net for the New Jersey Devils, but, it's a back-to-back situation. I'm assuming we will see one of Andrew Hammond in one of the two games. He was brutal in that game against the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, letting in goals from the blue line, you can't let that happen, dude. Hammond, you played well 2 nights ago. You stole the Devils a win from the Vegas Golden Knights, and then you come out and let it just go by your glove from the blue line against the Sabres. It kind of took the wind out of them. I believe that made it 1-0, and the Devils weren't the same team since. But Nico Dawes was sent down to the Utica Comets, not for anything he did wrong. I mean, his save percentage is below 900, but that's not for a lack of anything else other than being a 20-year-old fourth stringer playing in the NHL 3 years ahead of when he should have been. 3 years might be a stretch, but so we'll see who plays for them today. I believe Mackenzie Blackwood has a chance to return here soon. I'm kind of looking it up right now. We'll see what happens with that. But I do know that Nedeljkovic, the rookie goalie for the Carolina, or not Nedeljkovic. Who am I blanking on? Nedeljkovic plays for Detroit now. Anyway, they're starting a rookie goalie. Peter Kokachev. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I'm not going to lie. I haven't heard of this guy. He's making his season debut for the Carolina Hurricanes. I know they've been dealing with some issues with Freddie Anderson. And I believe Ranta is Freddie Anderson's backup. So the Carolina Hurricanes, though, despite their goalie woes, are one of the very best teams in the National Hockey League. Don't let anybody kid you on that. Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen, Andrei Svechnikov, Nino Niederreiter. This team's awesome. The Carolina Hurricanes have a legit chance to win the Stanley Cup. If they don't, it's probably going to be because of their goaltending. Not a lot of people trust it. I'm one of those people. I do believe, as of right now, where we stand right now, though, I do believe they're the 4th best team in the Eastern Conference. I would put maybe 5th. I don't know. It depends where you stand on the Tampa Bay Lightning and their quest to win their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. And it depends what you think of the Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs. I think we can all agree that the Florida Panthers are the number 1 best team in the Eastern Conference. So we'll see what happens with the Hurricanes. They got the Devils trying to put a little stomp on them today. The Rangers are least favorite team on this show. They actually have a chance to catch the Carolina Hurricanes. In fact, they have caught them. They both have 108 points. The Devils would be doing the Rangers a solid by winning today. So maybe just lose on purpose. Just kidding. The Hurricanes at 50-20-8, they're good. They're so good. If they lose a playoff series, it's because the other team maybe had better goaltending or beat them well. I'm not really expecting the Devils to destroy them today by any means. We'll be lucky if they score a couple goals. I'd like to see Nico Hischier play well, which he has. Even in games he doesn't score, he's just so fun to watch for me. He's my kind of hockey player. I know some people, you want McDavid or Matthews or even Jack Hughes when you think of a first overall pick. I see a not as elite version of like a Patrice Bergeron or an Alexander Barkov. Like if his offense can reach what those guys have reached in the recent years, then sure. He's a great two-way center on a bad team. I think if Hischier was drafted 4th overall by Colorado and, things shook out differently, we would see Hischier as like that second-line center behind Nathan McKinnon, and people would be like, wow, you guys see this Hischier kid on Colorado? He's getting power play time on the second unit with someone like Valeri Nichushkin and Bowen Byram. You don't know how the rest of the drafts would have shaken out had the draft went differently in 2017. But, it's just, I think the world of Hischier. So I'm looking forward to see him playing against the Carolina Hurricanes today. That's really kind of it in terms of the game today. I think what's important for the Devils for the rest of the season, how many games we got left? There's 77 games played. There are 5 games left. One's today, one's tomorrow. Then there will be 3 remaining. Am I that bad at math? Is that really correct? Wow, I went by fast. We've done a game day live for every single one of these things. Don't you forget that. And we'll be back in full force next year. I'm very excited about next year. I think the Devils will be a little better. I'm not sure they're going to be a playoff team just yet. I need to know who's playing goal for them. And I need to know how well whoever is in playing goal for them actually is going to play. I think that's very important. I don't think they're a goalie away, like some people claim, but I think a very good goalie, or even just a league average goalie, will make them not be in second to last place in the Metropolitan Division again. So play well, Jesper Boquist. Keep it going. I'd love to see Nolan Foote just bury one. It'd be really cool to see a guy like that come up from the Utica Comets, who have just had a tremendous amount of success this season, and score a goal, feel good about his NHL chances next year, and then go back down to the Utica Comets and really give them a chance to win the Calder Cup. I know that the local AHL team to me, the Chicago Wolves, are right there in the standings, the league standings, with the Utica Comets. And if they meet in the Calder Cup final, there's going to be some good content coming from the Let's Go Devils podcast crew, because I will go to a game at Allstate Arena where they play. That'd be a lot of fun, actually, to watch. Very much looking forward to it. I got a couple comments coming in, and I got from Lil Fireboy, "Hey, Sam, can you get Vinnie to reach back to me about that Charlie O'Brien story?" Yeah, just send me a DM on Twitter. I'm at Vinnie Parisi. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Just send me a DM. I would love to talk about the Charlie O'Brien story. That sounds like fun. What do we got before we close out this kind of somewhat quick version of the Let's Go Devils podcast Game Day Live? Because I'm by myself. Obviously, Sam Wu is out today. We miss you very much. Let's see really quick if I can go to the Twitter machine and find out who it will be in net for the New Jersey Devils. Their little pregame show is also going live. Ours is better. Let's find Amanda. Where's Amanda? We got, just Nolan Foote getting into the lineup today and Lindy Ruff talking about it. No word on a goalie. I'm sure the second I close this show, we will be able to find out who the goalie is. I'm excited about today's game, though. It's going to be a good time. I think the Devils probably lose to the Carolina Hurricanes today, just because the Devils are depleted. They got rookies all over the ice. They got young players just trying to make their way. I think that's going to be the story of the game. I have the New Jersey Devils taking a tough L to the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll say, optimistically, I'm going to go 5-4. You give up 5 goals, that's not good. But if they score 4, hopefully you get one from, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt. I'd like to see the McLeod-Bastion duo combine for a goal here, and we'll see what happens from there. But, as always, I can't thank everyone from the bottom of my heart enough for watching today's Game Day Live. We only got a couple more of these coming from the Let's Go Devils podcast crew. Make sure you tune in after the game for a broad daylight version of Devils After Dark, talking about the game that you just watched or about to watch. And we're almost done. The draft is coming up soon. I've already started to do my digging. You might have seen some of my tweets. The NHL draft is going to be something on my radar coming up here. Hopefully the price is right. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of people like this Nemec kid too, but I think the Devils probably end up with him if they stay in their current slot. For Sam Wu, everybody else at the Let's Go Devils podcast, I'm Vinnie Parisi. Thank you so much for listening.